clearly. Hope everybody having a cool day, cool afternoon, cool evening, and cool night. I just got off work not too long ago. Got fresh. About to do this and lay down. When I get back up, I'll do another live. Um, what the hell? Fuck all that. No. I hope y'all hear me. Hope everything cool. Hope everything playing good. Man, fuck all that shit. Hell no. No. We over here with it. All right, shouts out to everybody. Hope everybody having a cool day, cool afternoon, cool evening, and cool night. Hope y'all hear me.
How are you doing 1 through 10? Blessed.
Let me know if you hear me clearly.
I am the purge. Purification, my soul on fire, I'm burning an urge. Fuck the demiurge. My ashes scattered through the universe. Fuck a urn. I am the blessing and I am the curse. I'm divine love when you hate this earth. I am the wordsmith, nigga. Never play with my words. I am the angel you saw in church, and the reaper driving your hearse. I'm the archon hiding in your mind. Yeah, this shit is absurd. I'm every suicidal thought. I'm why your ass on the verge. I'm the kingdom of heaven, Zion, Aroma, Nirvana, bitch, whatever you heard. I'm the shepherd and the herd. I'm your favorite strain, inhale the herb. I'm joy, I'm hurt, I'm gold, I'm dirt. I'm the motherfucker standing in the mirror looking back at you, looking down on your own self-worth. I am your shadow, eternal battle. Let me out the cage, I wanna go berserk. I'm every true seeker ever birthed. I'm really dog ever
I got in, got out. I was floating all through the work.
I'm really God.
Yo, I got some new headphones.
I'm every fear you gon' die with.
I was playing your video all day, Vonta.
I'm every dream you hold hostage. God body. I created the chains, then escaped the bondage.
I keep my phone in my pocket with these new headphones. It's like Bluetooth headphones. So
I'm the demon
I don't really
in your
gotta
cup.
dodge cameras like that no more.
At every function. I'm the nigga that you love, and I'm that nigga you don't fuck with. I'm every incarnation. I'm every star of nation. Half God, half Satan. I am the yin and the yang. I had to hold my own hand when I was walking through the flames. I am free will. Freely to earth I came. Bury me in a Ferrari. Bad bitch crying over my remains. I am the shaman that conquer pain. I'm Christ consciousness. I get crucified every day. I'm that targeted individual sending gang stalkers to an early grave. Yeah, I'm every sunrise you ever gazed. I'm the collective at every phase. I'm the ancestors reminding you that we still slaves. I'm the bullet in the chamber. Real nigga finna crash out on the brink.
You already know, baby. All for you.
You know what that mean? I used to pray,
Star Trek
pray,
pray.
Devil a lie. All this time, God was living in me. With the creator, I've been in sync. Cold water running, my Glock on the sink. I disappeared for a whole 100 weeks. Died 100 times, I never weep. I had a dream when I was asleep. It was just me, my brother, my niece, my wife, my daughter in Greece. That was the last time I felt peace. I am the purge, purification, my soul. I am the purge, purification, my soul released.
Hope you're having a great weekend, Vonta. This weekend is phenomenal because of you.
Hurricane 313.
You know it's happening. meditate just to ease my mind. Mind over matter, bitch, just a speed through time. Time doesn't exist, can you see the signs? Signs of the times, it is a dream of mine. Redesign worlds, I will be divine. I'm the god of the storms, kill every time. Every time I spit a rhyme in this realm of mine, call an account now, you prepared to die? Metaphysical, critical, spiritual, lyrical, miracle. You pitiful and killable, motherfucker, despicable. I dare anybody that think they winning it. I got magic power, yo, and it's limitless. Look at the benefits, turning the increments. While my light beams is playing some instruments. Death is infinite, feel the sentiment. Put a demigurge and save the innocent. Open the chakra, spiritual doctor. Full-time whipping that soon as a pop-up. Never gonna stop us, so you just watch us. Supernatural powers be determined to block up. Bitches get mopped up for fucking the real shit. Elemental power be string in the building. Metaphysical drill shit. You're gonna get killed quick. I'm the only guy they scared to deal with. Look at the monster coming through with the launch to destroy the universe. I'm ready to conquer, man. This is an honor. Going bonkers, ready to stop it. I'm a different bitches with the contra, man. I should get an Oscar, but this ain't a movie, ho. See the fucking fire coming straight from the studio. Bitch, I'm a warrior, hurting you, murder you, filling your phobia.
Got a notification.
This is the soul back, getting your dome crack. And my light beam breaking out of the soul trap, taking my soul back. I am the monad. You get a body bad, and your bitches get toe tagged. Singing the flow bang, your niggas ridiculous. 4-minute accolades ready to kill quick. My niggas spirit quick, it feel like a Goldberg. Hurricane coming destroy in the whole world. Even the cosmos, lyrical honcho. Every archon they about to get popo. Doing it pronto. What is the time for? So another bitch these stronger than time zone. Be it the shadow work, be it the inner work. Fight the inner team by the kick up through middle earth. Now you're feeling certain that this is the killer birds. Cause you're fucking scared when you should've just went to church. Bitch.
Now let's get on to it. Now this, like, I gotta go to the other phone now, so like I won't be leaving nothing in the chat. I didn't pre-record this. I saw this shit when I was when I was on the route. I should have recorded when I was when I was in the shower, but I didn't want to leave the phone on the pre-recorded with the ads recorded in it and shit. So I was like, fuck it, I'ma just do it on the other phone. But something that I never really dived into in the Star Trek, I like kind of brushed over it. Like I studied everything else, but I never talked about the augments. Hey, so you got the right talking over there? I think it's number 6. I should have put I think. I gotta count everything up and probably I don't know. I'm just going with the flow. The augments were great in Enterprise. And that's another thing. I did not watch Enterprise. I did not get into it. Because by that time when Enterprise came out, I was in high school. And I left Star Trek alone. And it kind of, I left Star Trek alone after DS9. I tried to give Voyager a chance. It was maybe like 6, maybe 7 years ago when I got back into Voyager and I watched all of the seasons. I'm like, you know what, this is pretty decent, cool show. They got to be a family. You know what I'm saying? But ain't nothing like DS9. DS9 is the best fucking shit on television. And I'm going to do a Star Trek talk about DS9 and Babylon 5. There was a conflict between those two shows saying that somebody stole from the other. So I'm like, wait a minute. I remember Babylon 5, but I never watched it because I'm like, I might as well just watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This is my better show. You know what I'm saying? But never gave Babylon 5 a chance. But I'm hearing it's a similar show. But ain't nothing like DS9. Got the best Trek series, but still Trek. Yeah, oh, is it too dirty for you, huh? No, in high school, I left Star Trek and I was just getting into music, and I was just getting into rock music, and I was getting into anime. So Star Trek was, it was gone. It was out of my head. It was out of my mind. But I used to see the commercials all the time whenever I watched wrestling and shit. Like Star Trek Enterprise. I'm like, I don't even like the uniforms. but the but the but the but the Vulcan girl looked kind of cool. You know, like she looked kind of cool. I never see any Babylon 5 either. Right. Right. Babylon 5. I used to be like, oh my God, fuck this show. Come on, Hercules and Xena. That's all I was waiting on was Hercules and Xena to come on. Look at this Babylon 5 shit out of here. I want to watch Hercules. Because I think Babylon 5 came on another station. I think Babylon 5 came on, I think Channel 20. And Star Trek came on another station. I forgot. But if I'm not mistaken, I think at one point in time it was on the same station. I'm not really sure. Makes sense now. You say, hold on. You said high school. So you were thinking with your instead of your high school was fun. But I'm gonna just be honest. I wasn't really a player like that. It was always just one. And whenever all the fellas used to go out, yeah, let's go pull some hoes and pick up some numbers. Everybody come back with 5, 6, 10. I just had one. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna call. Those motherfuckers get 5, 6, 7 numbers, don't call none of them. But probably 3 or 4. I'm like, nigga, y'all pulled 10 numbers. You gonna call the other girls that y'all pulled? Hell no. Playing with people's hearts and shit. And me, I'm happy to get the only one that's in another goddamn motherfucking part of the goddamn city that's 3-hour drive away. Ain't nobody about to do that. We'll talk forever until we meet. And we fucking never met up. But mind you, this was high school though. And we all, the festivals used to come downtown. So everybody from all over the whole state of Michigan comes to this one spot. So yeah. Getting all them numbers and just be playing around. Yeah, let's go pull some hoes. Oh man. I know me saying it, but I'd be like, man, fuck it, let's just go. Let's go. Motherfucker be like, yo, no, you know how many numbers you get? Shit, nigga, just one? Man, you lame. Yeah, but I'm calling one though. Shit, the fuck? In the next 2 weeks, you ain't even gonna motherfucking even have the fucking 7 numbers. I might be talking to 2 by the next week. But oh man, but real shit, girls was last. And I'm gonna just be honest, I was so caught up in music and fucking I was still doing art and I was doing poetry. I forgot I was in high school. So yep, I was doing poetry too. So man, and the first couple of house parties I went to, now that was fun. But once it's time to go in the crib, now you got to deal with reality in the real life and in the post shit. But when I was outside chilling with the friends and going to school, skipping school, and house parties, hanging out, that was fun. And I made sure that I really didn't get into too much trouble. If it's, be back before curfew, you feel me? And if it was too late that we staying out, we made sure we was with a grown up and made sure we called the crib. With a grown up, and plus, thank God the grown up that we was with was a friend of my older sister. So I was like, shit, man, we straight. Oh yeah. But to get off into the Augments. I never knew nothing about the Augments. I know about the Klingons, Kardashians, Romulans, Vulcans a little bit. I need to like study more about Vulcans, but the Augments, I ain't know nothing about. I heard some shit about a eugenics war. So I'm like, wait a minute. We need to dive into this. So I won't be able to type in a chat because I'm on the second phone right now. But I will be showing you love. All right, I gotta turn this Bluetooth off, turn this Bluetooth off, turn this Bluetooth on. Computer. Do I have to go in this bitch manually? All right, computer, you made me go in this bitch manually. Ain't this a bitch? All right, I think the only augment.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Oh, if I can remember, it was Bashir. And I think it was a couple other augments that was knocking motherfuckers out in TNG. People was getting lifted the fuck up, if I can remember. You know, it's vaguely though. I vaguely remember. But like once I saw this on the bus, I'm like, I can't pre-record it. So I was like, fuck it. We're gonna just like listen to it here on the second phone. And this is another person, I guess, like ever since I was watching that Trek shit, now a whole bunch of people that's doing Trek reviews is just popping up out in my algorithm. I never seen this guy before. I'll find a couple of cool clips from the Enterprise Armored episodes for you. Brent Spiner played Khan. Brent Spiner, aka Data. Data? I love Data. Data is one of the coolest characters on TNG. But his brother? Man. His brother is not only funny, but scary at the same damn time. When they brought that motherfucker back, when they when on the Picard season 3, and like Jordy told him to wake him up. Hey yo, just wake up his cognitive functions. Don't wake this motherfucker up fully. Man, both brothers was in the body, I kind of didn't understand it. But it was just good to see the whole crew back together. And not only I get to hear Data, but I get to hear his brother. Holy shit. That motherfucker. I was like, oh yeah, oh my God, this is crazy. I don't understand it, but I love it. But it's Data and his brother in the same fucking. Oh, y'all done fucked up. Talk about some acting. Yeah, but man, he just took me off. Oh yes, I'm definitely. All right. Oh, let's go.
Hey guys, Tyler here. So, I've made multiple videos over the past few years pertaining to Star Trek's Eugenics Wars, a series of conflicts over genetic engineering that characterizes part of the lead-up to Earth's World War III. But while there is much to say about the timeline of the Eugenics Wars and how they've been affected by temporal shenanigans, I haven't focused as much on the biology of the augments. This is mostly because the traits that make them unique are fairly straightforward and are pretty clearly explained in Star Trek. They're stronger, smarter, live longer.
Damn!
But what exactly?
Yeah, I know what clip you about to send me. You about to send me a clip of a beautiful female uppercutting the motherfucker. That nigga did a backflip. Damn. And that's from Enterprise. I can recognize the uniforms. I used to see the commercials and it's like, check out Star Trek Enterprise. I'm like, I hate those uniforms. But she fucked that nigga up. He did a full backflip.
Is the science that went into creating them, and what does it say about the technological state of humanity in Trek's alternate history? In this video, I'll attempt to answer that question and more. Let's get started.
The biology of Star Trek's augments. Okay.
I might cover sci-fi biology for a living, thinking about alien ecosystems, futuristic medicine, and what life could look like on other worlds. But it's...
Yeah, Vanta, and you thought we were nerds? Oh no, this bad. I salute this guy. This man just saying all that. Don't you study? Oh yeah. Make me want to go pick up a fucking book. Jesus. I'm about to pick up a fucking book and read it. Respect for real. Much respect. Like what? I wouldn't be surprised if he motherfucker created a whole D&D ecosystem. Oh, for those out there who don't know what D&D is, that's Dungeons and Dragons. I never got into Magic the Gathering though. I wanted to. I heard it was extremely difficult, but shit, I don't give a fuck. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Let's get off into something difficult. But Dungeons and Dragons, I played a little bit of that. On the arcade and on the tabletop. I want to play Hunter the Recklin motherfucking tabletop.
Funny how those ideas always circle me back to something much simpler, our own biology. The reality is, no matter how far out I go in research or storytelling, I still have to come back to my everyday body and health. As I'm getting older, the demands of my job mean it's more important than ever to pay attention to my health. I think we can all relate to waking up with neck and back pain, for instance. And between the cost of healthcare and how little free time there is to go around these days, that's where the convenience of using today's video sponsor, ZocDoc, comes in.
Oh no.
ZocDoc is a free website where you can search across nearly every specialty. You can use their filters to find doctors, locate openings, choose a time that works for you, and once again, click to instantly book a visit. And ZocDoc appointments happen fast over the web with just a few clicks. Stop waiting, stop guessing, and start getting the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/Orange River. Let's get back to the video.
A quick word from our sponsors. How about a quick word from our sponsors? You can't go day till you have a Deacon cider. Can't go wrong with a Deacon cider. For the sake of the economy, get a Deacon cider. All right, that's my sponsor. Shit, motherfucker, putting out sponsors and shit.
Before we dive into the how, let's examine the what, the firmly established physiological traits that augments have, which can give us a clue as to their creation process. The original augments are designed for agility, being more durable and having 5 times the average human strength. This durability is exemplified with resistance to directed energy weapons, taking multiple shots with a phase pistol or phaser to stun one. And they can even resist a Vulcan nerve pinch. Their heart muscles are also twice as strong, and they have 50% higher lung capacity. They have enhanced senses and are resistant to sickness, their blood containing platelets capable of regenerating from virtually any disease or toxin. This blood could be used to cure or even revive medical subjects via transfusion. As mentioned earlier, they have longer lifespans, as much as twice the average humans. Their enhanced intellect, double normal humans' IQ, enables them to learn very fast, such as how Khan is able to design advanced weapon systems upon being woken up in the alternate reality. But despite their superior abilities, their genome still has major defects. The augments are belligerent, arrogant, and ambitious, and they have a diminished sense of morality. One scientist involved in their creation
it sounds like if our government was creating some shit, transhumanism, augmentation. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're creating the first augments. We already got the AI robots. Next is gonna be transhumanism. We're gonna be the we're gonna be the augments. I knew you were gonna say that. Yo, I think we might be the new augments. You knew it was coming, huh, Vonta?
Superior ability breeds superior ambition. In Enterprise, Dr. Eric theorizes a defect in the augment's genomes resulted in a malformation in the base pair sequences regulating neurotransmitter levels, the cause of their heightened aggression and violent behavior.
Every time they say Khan, I'm gonna do it.
The original series and Star Trek Into Darkness explicitly placed the first generation of augments as having been born in the mid-20s.
Every time they say Khan, you gotta take a shot. Take a Jello shot.
century, more
Off a
precisely
belly
the
button.
1950s. In the latter, McCoy identifies one of the augments as being 300 years old. This would be consistent with the idea of their creators overlooking the augment's personalities and being unable to correct them due to the infancy of the science. And importantly, in Space Seed, the augments are distinctly referred to as the product of selective breeding, not genetic engineering. At the time the episode was written, the structure of DNA had
Yeah,
only
because like now they're going all the way back to the original Star Trek.
known for less than 14 years, and we were still over 30 years away from completing the Human Genome Project, nor had we even successfully cloned any other animals yet. Because of this, we can deduce that the first generation of augments was not necessarily cloned in test tubes or produced by in vitro fertilization, as suggested in various Star Trek novels. No, when Spock says selective breeding, he likely means just that. Breeding, as in mating humans over multiple generations to produce specific traits, like dogs. This is arguably even darker than cloning or genetic enhancement, because it implies, well, women, possibly young girls, being forced to carry super babies against their will, probably in the early years after World War II. We could imagine this being a Western response to the Übermensch concept associated with the eugenics policies of Nazi Germany, which is not totally out of the realm of possibility given the US absorbed the talents
This
of
is
many
the second Star Trek motherfucking video I did that led back to fucking World War II. First was talking about the Maquis and how the Maquis started. And how they was the good guys. Now this is leading back. Yep, but I forgot. We talk about the augments. It goes back to the eugenics war. And what was the Nazis doing? Eugenics. Ain't this a motherfucking bit? But this is a history lesson and a Star Trek at the same time. This is awesome. I love this.
German scientists after the war. Selective breeding, also known as artificial selection, as opposed to natural selection, could have used exposure to chemicals or radiation to encourage a higher frequency of random mutations. These augments would have reached roughly their 30s by the time of the 1990s eugenics wars, in which they seized power in over 40 nations and began battling amongst themselves before being overthrown and exiled from Earth, including Khan and his followers, aboard the SS Botany Bay, and Stylos Caniclius, later found by the crew of Kirk's Enterprise on Phylos. Genetic engineering was totally banned to prevent similar conflicts from happening.
He said, there was a few good Enterprise episodes where they went back to the time of World War II Germany too. He drank. Yeah. Right, gotta take a shot of St. Khan again. I wish I had something to drink. I got some water though. Take a shot of some water. Yum. That's some good water.
Happening again, presumably building upon previous regulations like the Shenzhen Convention mentioned in Star Trek Picard. However, it may not have been outlawed everywhere all at once, as these laws are referred to as being decades old in Enterprise, suggesting continued debate over the issue following World War III. In any event, remaining augment embryos were confiscated by Earth authorities and placed in cold storage, as seen in Enterprise. As I discussed in my video about Strange New Worlds prime timeline alterations, in the Season 2 episode, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, we find out that the dates of the eugenics wars have been pushed from the 90s to the mid-21st century, concurrent with the period of World War III confirmed in Star Trek First Contact. I theorized that this could place the original series, and at least the first few films, in their own timeline, separate from what's now called the Prime Universe. I reasoned that the writers of the Next Generation era shows seemed to express a discomfort with placing the eugenics wars in the 90s, which is why they generally avoided the subject, hence why Los Angeles looks untouched by nuclear war in the Voyager episode Future's End. But I did happen to overlook some dialogue in the Augments-focused episodes of Enterprise that still point to a 20th century origin. These include Phlox commenting on the sophistication of the science for the time period, and Soong warning Malik could confirm everything people have said about augments for the last 150 years. Depending on how you look at it, though, this could technically work multiple ways. Under the original continuity, 150 years would refer to the time between Enterprise and the end of the eugenics wars.
It could work multiple ways without even having timeline difficulty. They can just be like different factions of people that was doing their own eugenics. like to avoid any conflict with like 90s, early 2000s. Like fuck all that. It's like there's different people that want to make a superhuman. It just shit. Everybody try to make a superhuman. Flox was the doctor in Enterprise. Yeah. If I see a picture of him, he look like a doctor. Yup. He look like a cool doctor too. Like, I don't know what type of alien he is, but like he look like a cool guy to be a doctor on the Enterprise. Shit, fuck the bullshit. You gotta be cool to be a doctor and an alien on that motherfucker. Oh, he's a doublet. That's what's up, baby. A doublet. What, they got like 4 stomachs and 3 hearts? I wonder what's a doublet. It sound like some shit from a medieval time. Drink from the doublet. You mean the goblet? I thought a goblet was a monster. No, that's a goblin. That's a goblet. Like with the ET? Yeah, with the ET. Dude name is Flox.
But under the new paradigm, it could refer to the mere cultural discussions around the ethics of human cloning that have been happening in the real world since the 1990s, when we, in theory, became technologically capable of doing so. Eric Soon's ancestor, Adam Soon, holding up a funding report for Project Khan, dated 1996, in the season 2 finale of Star Trek Picard, which mostly takes place in 2024, is one of those Easter eggs that looks cool on the surface, but also kind of just adds to the confusion. It probably refers to
Dino Blin. Okay, all right. What the YouTube showed me was they put the symbol next to the they put the symbol next to your comment, and it's a doublet. Yeah, but thank you, Vanta. Dino Blin or Dino Blin or Dino Blin. He's a Dino Blin. But what the YouTube put, they always put that motherfucking symbol next to y'all comments and shit. So it got a doublet, a capital A DOUBLED. That's what it put with your comment. But I kind of figured an alien would not be named a doublet. What the fuck is a doublet? But a Dino Blin, best believe that's definitely an alien name. But fuck YouTube again. They just not gonna stop fucking with me. But I don't know why nobody not complaining about this motherfucking symbol being next to people's comments and it's changing their comments into other shit. The automatic translation shit, yeah. They're translating some shit into some shit that's not even supposed to be there. Every time they put your name in the chat, it put boasts. Your name is Vanta. But what it's showing me, they put the symbol and they say boast. BOASTS. Boasts. I'm like, what? Like, what for like I hate seeing it. And I know they doing that shit on purpose to make me flip out, but I can't wait to find another motherfucking website. Can't wait to find another shit to get the fuck off this fucking YouTube. Hate it. For real. Because I just said something that I thought you typed and you didn't type it. You feel me? It fucks up the engagement, but if I just be in cool spirits, don't think nothing of it and just laugh it off, I think I should just laugh it off. But like at the same time, man, it's you see all the shit I go through on this platform. I'm even too dirty for that YouTuber.
Search that preceded the funding of cloned augments, though it's unclear if it's from a pre or post altered timeline. My job is so hard, guys. Either way, it's conceivable a secret human cloning project could exist on early 21st century Earth and Star Trek, which is why moving the date of the eugenics wars, while controversial, has some logic to it. As for the 20th century augments being referred to as genetically engineered and Into Darkness, the non-canon tie-in comic Star Trek Khan alleges that Khan and his contemporaries were ordinary children who were kidnapped off the street and given genetic enhancements. Somewhat plausible, given this kind of technology has existed since our 1970s. One real-life early example is the creation of the first recombinant DNA molecules by Paul Berg, who in 1972 combined DNA from the monkey virus SV40 with the lambda phage, which typically infects E. coli. And in 1974, Rudolf Jenisch created a genetically modified mouse by introducing foreign DNA into an embryo. Production of genetically engineered insulin was announced in 1978, and the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in 1980 that GMOs, like fruit you buy at the grocery store, could be patented. And in 2010, scientists created the first synthetic genome by inserting DNA into an empty bacterial cell, which then went on to reproduce. This preceded the development in 2012 of the CRISPR-Cas9 technique, which can be used to specifically alter almost any organism's genome with ease. It achieves this by delivering an enzyme with guide RNA, a short sequence of instructions, to cut DNA strands at desired locations and insert or remove new genes. This can technically be done on living organisms as well, but since the young Khan in Tomorrow looks to be probably no more than 10 years old, CRISPR-Cas9 was probably used in its creation. Since the 1980s, many advancements in genetic engineering technology, even for crops, have been set back by legal challenges and protested by environmental groups. But underground research like that surrounding the augments in Star Trek, whether it be in the 20th or 21st centuries, does, once again, have some technological basis. So to summarize, there are three different methods by which the augments could have been created. The earliest technique, which was probably used to produce the augments depicted in Space Seed, evidently involved pure selective breeding over generations to achieve desired results. This would have been an outgrowth of prior eugenics practices during the World War II era, even by the United States, which performed illegal experiments like infecting African American men with syphilis without their knowledge over the span of 40 years.
Yeah, we talked about that on the JVJ network. How the government inject black people with syphilis, made them go home to their wives and shit, and kick back and watch the motherfucking shit just turn into fucking chaos. Fuck this government. This government is fucked up. Yeah, the Wrath of Cain. Ooh, baby. Thank you. That was my mixtape. I gotta bring that back. Oh yeah, it was called The Wrath of Cain, Volume 1. Yeah, on my Xbox. I think I played a couple of songs from it, but yeah, The Wrath of Cain, I might just make that an album. I might just make just oh my god, I just might make that an album. Or make it a song. But I like that. Because it took me back. Gotta bring it back. Bringing it back.
If the Kelvin timeline has any historical differences from the Prime Universe prior to Nero's incursion, then perhaps the story of Khan and his fellow augments being genetically altered could be true, although much of Khan's testimony regarding his personal history in tie-in comics may have been fabricated to garner sympathy. And finally, the versions of the augments created in the early 21st century are likely straight-up clones, probably illegally designed using CRISPR-Cas9. The science used here would have built upon knowledge and techniques developed since the completion of the Human Genome Project in the early 2000s. But the imperfect nature of human cloning still would have resulted in neurological issues that caused the augments to become aggressive and tyrannical, establishing augment dictatorships in the lead-up to the final nuclear confrontation of World War III. As you can see, the uncertainty as to how and when the augments were created in Star Trek's history underscores the messy nature of the eugenics wars as part of Star Trek's lore. It's one reason I kind of hesitated to even make this video, but perhaps in future installments of Star Trek, we'll get
hesitated to make the video. Never hesitate.
A little more clarification as to how all of this unfolded. In the meantime, I encourage you to check out...
But I understand why he hesitated, because he wanted to be very fucking clear how the fucking eugenics shit unfolded. So it's very understandable. It's very understandable. Because I hesitate too, like if I don't really got enough information, but yet he got to go live. Like fuck it, I might have to make a part two when I find other shit. But, like I like his analysis of it so far, because I didn't see the Spacey episode of the original series. I need to go back to it and find out what's going on. But like they were doing the selective breeding process during that time. And then it fast forward and genetic manipulation, then the cloning shit and data. Yep, they're doing it now with fucking CRISPR. Fucking CRISPR.
My other Augments related videos, including my video about the size of Khan's empire, now especially outdated probably, Strange New Worlds, timeline alterations, and my video on the Illyrian species.
Baby, I love them belly shots, baby. 6 belly shots. I love it.
Whose cultural practice of genetic engineering makes them outcasts in the 23rd Century Federation. Links to all of those are in the description. With that, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below and don't forget to share it. That stuff really helps me out. If you haven't subscribed yet...
Yep. Outro. We can leave out of that. Go back over here, computer. Set me up.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Thanks, computer. Prepare to engage.
Catherine Janeway, he also decided to...
Hello, what's this?
Good fortune is your good fortune.
When the Star Trek universe had its humble beginning in 1966, there's no doubt in people's mind that Q were the most powerful species in that universe. The all-knowing, all-seeing species set in motion some of the key events in the story. But truly, how powerful are they? How far do they see? How much do they know? In this origin video, we take a deep dive into the Q continuum and become all-knowing when it comes to the Q. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Let's dive. El Capitan.
Who are the Q, and why are they so important in the Star Trek universe? Since the premiere of Star Trek in 1966, it has captured the hearts of audiences with its vast universe and multitude of characters. However, one of the more prominent characters that have stuck with everyone has to be Q. Played by the handsome John Delancey, Q is a non-corporeal entity that is not...
Don't no man call another man handsome. He said, played by the handsome John Delancey. Don't know man call another man handsome. That's strike one. That's strike one, motherfucker. Q, we deep diving.
Human and omnipotent. In order to understand Q and their whole deal, we first have to understand the whole mess of the terminology that comes with the species. So there's this space, an extra-dimensional plane of existence. This is known as the Q continuum. This is where Q resides. Q is the name of the species, but then to make matters more confusing, each individual member of the species is also called Q. So if you are in the Q continuum, congratulations! You will never forget anyone's name because everyone is named Q. Why they're named this way? Oh, it's because they have developed so much that they have essentially incomprehensible for us humans to understand. Language is a construct. Physical form is just an idea. Why have names that can distinguish you from the rest when all of you can simply be Q? And as far as the personality is considered, oh boy, if you have seen The Big Bang Theory, you may have had moments where you found the Klingon-speaking genius Sheldon quite egotistical. Well, Q is definitely where he got it from because Q is as infuriating as his father. Q always needs to be in control. He's chaotic and brash. Manipulation comes easily to him, and his inflated ego would probably serve as a life jacket for me if he's thrown off the ship. However, despite all these traits that can be mildly infuriating at some points, it's what makes Q so lovable and a fan favorite for so many people. But the Q is important in the whole Star Trek universe. They effectively start the domino effect. They shift the chess pieces and start a new adventure. Imagine a child who's bored out of their mind. They have nothing to do and they're dying to be entertained. That is when they come up with the most chaotic set of actions and the most devious plans. Lancey's Q is exactly like that. The Q as a species has progressed so far that they do not feel like they have anything left to talk about. That causes them to feel bored, and Q is no different. Because of that, he starts off the new adventures in Picard's life.
You know
it, rules, and can be a very good manipulator when it comes time for him to be. And as he is nothing more than a bored god, toying around with the crew to be entertained.
You're not a genius.
Exploring the backstory of this species. The origin of the species has yet to be...
Dude popped up in Janeway bathtub. Was like, I take that back. You're not a genius. I would have been like, bitch, you wanna get the fuck out of my bathtub?
discovered. While we have Q stating that Q was always there, Quinn stated that there was a time when Q was not always these non-corporeal beings. If we really had to look at the...
I liked it, Quinn. Quinn was letting me know. I'm like, man, Q is too mysterious, man. Give me some more information, Quinn. Like, I don't give a fuck what come out of Quinn's mouth. When I found out it was Q, I was like, yo, bro, keep talking so you can find out more about the Q continuum.
power of the Q and how they
But Quinn wanted to fucking die.
function, we could simply see that this species has evolved this way over a really long period
Had
of
to
time.
have a
But
Q
how long
episode
can
that
it
you
be?
know it,
4
baby.
billion years,
Yup.
at least. According to Q, the species has evolved through several centuries. This evolution has allowed this species to reach purity. The Q race as a whole has a godlike status, and that's due to them being in their pure state. But being around for so long has its own flaws. For example, you'll be bored if you have done everything that there is to do. And there is the case where it comes to Q. Q's apathetic and bored because everything that was there to experience has experienced it. Everything that there is to discuss, he's already discussed it. So what does one do when they're bored? They bring chaos. We know that a quiet mind is the devil's workshop, and we could say that was the case for Q as well. Because Q was bored, he decided to use the people around him as toys and push them into new adventures to make himself feel worthwhile and alive.
I wasn't the one who misplaced the entire Deltivid asteroid belt. Hey, this isn't about me. Think of better places to be.
Cosmic chaos, deltoid asteroid belt. Imagine yourself being so bored that you decide to mess around with a whole asteroid belt. That's exactly what Q did. Q's boredom pushes him to interfere in the life of other species just because he can.
Yeah.
Bidding wars between two species. History is not my strong forte, but I bet the whole situation of two kingdoms fighting because someone instigated them against one another has happened before. Now imagine the war in space, and instead of two kingdoms, it's two intelligent species, and you instigated a war between them just because you can. The level of messed up bored you have to be in order to do this is astounding, and yet here we are. Q has done it before. Q instigated wars between Romulians and Vulcans that lasted for 100 years. In another instance, because once was not enough, Q decided to start...
Motherfucker said Romulians. This is how you know a motherfucker using AI. I'm like, man, just come on, man. You could read from the script and say it yourself. Talk about Romulians. It's the Romulans, man. The Romulans, man.
war between the Vogines and the Wingari, interfering with humans. Now, as Q is omniscient, it will not be wrong to assume Q is omnipresent too, because at one point, Q could not visit one solar system without apologizing to another Q. In our solar system, the Q that we had was much better. The interactions that Q had with humans were far more positive. Instead of waging wars when it came to us, Q helped Isaac Newton find gravity by shaking the apple tree until the apple fell on his head. This Q was Quinn. He helped during the Civil War and also helped secure Woodstock in the 20th century. However, as Quinn became progressively depressed and suicidal in his later years, in the 21st century he was trapped in a comet. 2165, Guinan. We got to see Whoopi Goldberg take on the role of the titular Guinan.
Guinan. It's Guinan. And you gotta say it like Picard. Guinan. Guinan. Really? Guinan? Guinan? Really? That was the second thing that made me mad. I wanted to cut the video off. I was like, boy, you're using AI. You lazy fuck. It's only a 17-minute fucking video. You can't talk for 17 minutes about the Romulians. Fucking Romulans, man. And her name is Guinan. And when Q saw Guinan, he put the guards up like, Guinan put the guards up like, They're like y'all motherfuckers know each other? Man, they went like it was about to be a straight mental battle. Somebody was about to get brain frozen, paralyzed. Whatever was about to happen in that room. I'm talking about Q was like, I forgot what Q said, but it was like, no. But I laughed when he said it. I forgot what he said. But it was on the wavelength of, if you know what's best for you, you'll get away from that motherfucking bitch. That bitch is dangerous. Like it was on the line of that.
And we got to take a deep dive into the relationship of the L-Arians and the Q. The two species have always had a relationship that cannot be explained in simple terms. It's complicated as what would...
Yeah, it cannot be explained. It's complicated. What the fuck happened between Guinan's race and the Q? Nah, that's something to really dive into. What the fuck was going on for them to come to a month? Man, what? Something happened. And whatever happened, it was very, 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 very serious and crucial for both races.
Explain the relationship dynamic between the two. The L-Aryan species can control their aging and time. They're not as powerful as the Q. However, they both engaged in a Cold War of sorts, which ended in a truce between two parties. This truce allowed...
Yeah, engaged in a Cold War. Ended in the truce. And we all know what Cold War is. Motherfuckers spying on each other. So what the fuck? Spies... Shit blowing up out of nowhere. Nobody don't know what's going on. People getting assassinated. Cold War shit. You know, like shadow work, but like with blades and shit. Shadow ninja work. But they not as powerful as the Q. But they gotta be as powerful intellectually. And they probably got a molecular structure that can't, like get them erased from existence, because the Q can just snap their fingers and these motherfuckers can be gone. So whatever other shit they got is protecting them. It's like probably a nuclear deterrent or some shit. Who knows? But I wish they expand on it more. With Q, Guyanese people are the board, right? And even Q told little Q, like, don't fuck with the board. But Guinan races, oh my God. We need to talk about Guinan's race more.
The L-Aryans to have Q at their beck and call by doing a special ritual. In this episode, called Monsters, we learned that Q's powers are diminishing, which is why the ritual did not summon him. The meeting between Guinan and Q also showed that while Q has intelligence and an idea for the future, he can still be surprised because Q was surprised by how Guinan was. Federation 2364. The first time Q and Federation met was in 2364. Q, being the god he is, decided to put humanity to the test rather than a trial because, in his eyes, humans were nothing but a child race. He visited the Federation about 7 times in total. He even introduced them to...
And real shit, the Federation, the human race, should be thankful. Because Q chose a test instead of a fucking trial. But the trial never ends. So was it a test or was it the trial? That's the great part about Q. I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. That right there just blows your mind. No trial but a test, but he tells you the trial never ends. So was it the test or was it the trial? It's just like, it's just awesome. It's awesome with the Q.
Board on his 5th visit. Because of his notorious behavior, there was a meeting at Enterprise where every Starfleet captain was informed of who Q was, but his features were not described to the captains. We later find out that this is because we see Captain Janeway think that Quinn was a notorious Q at first when she met him. Q Civil War. The Q Civil War started because Quinn decided to commit suicide. His monotony in life was too much for him to deal with, and when he was able to be in his humanoid form, he took poison. This loss of life understandably rubbed the Q continuum the wrong way, and that led to the Civil War. This war included a lot of fire weapons. These fire weapons were inspired by the guns used in the American Civil War. These guns were able to kill or injure Qs, which was a rather new concept because prior to this episode, we'd only seen the Qs being executed using the power of their mind. But this Civil War proved that the Qs...
Nigga, Q was like, oh shit, this is blood.
Like blood. Superior when it comes to technology and can easily make something that can cause galactic crossfires and supernovas in our universes. This war only came to an end when Q decided to father a child. He thought that since the war
supernovas in our universes, I need to put this Civil War up there with the Time War, because the Time War in Doctor Who, that shit was so fucking crazy. It was tearing up space and time. That's how crazy that Time War was. The fucking Time War and the Q Continuum War, I would put them up there. I'll put them up there as the motherfucking greatest wars. You know, I might have a list, but like, I don't think it's going to the top 15, because the Time War is like, shit. Time War would have destroyed everything. But when it comes to the Q Continuum Civil War, it said the shit was called supernovas. Okay, yeah, like it'll fuck up some planets. But the Time War was fucking up the fabric of space and time. But if the Civil War would have dragged on, it probably would have destroyed the fabric of space and time. So I'm putting them both up there as like neck and neck for number one best war. Yep, the episode when Q lost his powers is my favorite Q. I like when Q made Picard choose to get stabbed in that motherfucking bar. Like when he gave Picard that other life and he played it safe. That episode was deep. I was like, man. And my other favorite Q episode was when the girl Q came up and flung that nigga to that wall. She was like, bitch, get over there. That nigga's like, ah! He flew up to that wall fast as hell. But yeah, my favorite Q episode was when he had Picard, be like, yo, look, I need your help. Great episode. Tapestry. Yeah. Yes, every time they find a cannon, a star exploded. Yeah. Shit, wow. Began
because of the loss of life. Welcoming a life would be deemed fair trade. Last contact in the 26th century. As we could see, the Continuum has interacted with the Federation several times, and how each time has ended. However, in the 26th century, it was the last time they were in contact with the Federation. It could be the Q Continuum no longer wanted to be in the limelight while manipulating the human world. Or it could be because they were waiting for the humans to cross over a threshold before they interacted with them again. The reason was unknown, but in 3190, while the crew was discussing the DMA, the absence of the Q Continuum was brought to light. What are some of the unique physiological traits of this species? When we were first introduced to Q, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't surprised by the way Q looked. Apart from Q being played by the dashing John Delancey, it was almost shocking.
By the dashing John Delancey. Don't no man call another man handsome or dashing. That's strike two. If you say anything about John Delancey in the form of do I gotta do that Chinese guy? What's that Chinese guy name? What's his name? Kim or some shit? Dude was in the back of the classroom. He was like, gay.
How fewer prosthetics were used. You could almost expect that the Q, being one of the most powerful alien species, would have some alien or at least some less humanoid features, but that was not the case. In fact, we can almost look at Q and confuse them for fellow humans. The humanoid features often act in their favor, as that makes them less intimidating, even though there are several reasons why you should be intimidated. Now, point to be noted that Q can express itself in several different forms. However, Q usually chooses to stay as a human male. His fashion sense is on fleek because he's always dressed in the Starfleet Starfleet uniform. As the Q does not age, I'm pretty sure the biggest reason why we get to see an aged version of Q in the latest episode is simply that he does not want to make Picard feel jealous of his infinite youth. There were bars on top of the character's head showing their threat level. Q would be the maximum one because Q is truly powerful. Q's omniscient, omnipotent, and immortal. I believe in the Starfleet uniform. As the Q does not age, I'm pretty sure the biggest reason why we get to see an aged version of Q in the latest episode is simply that he does not want to make Picard feel jealous of his infinite youth. There were bars on top of the character's head showing their threat level. Q would be the maximum one because Q is truly powerful. Q's omniscient, omnipotent, and immortal. I believe being all of these three things together gives the Q valid reasons to feel like they're above us humans because they truly are. In Hyde and Q of TNG, Q mentioned that it considered us humans as non-entities. This was obviously because in front of the Q, we mere humans were nothing. Starting off as highly intelligent interdimensional beings, the Q is omniscient, omnipotent, and immortal. They're all-seeing and all-knowing. Even when a Q is turned human, Q has an IQ of 2005. I'm pretty sure that is one of our audience's birth years. To put it in perspective, while you and I might struggle even to do our honors in one subject, Amanda
2005 was the year I left home at 17 and never looked back. Woo! Never looked back. 17. That's why it's my lucky number.
Plasma dynamics, and eco-regeneration. This was done by her when she was under the misconception that she was indeed human. Being a Q sounds a little mentally taxing, does it not? Being super intelligent means you have a lot of responsibilities, and with responsibility comes a lot of reprimands if you behave as chaotically as Q does. But then when you learn that as a Q, you will not feel ticklish or claustrophobic and definitely will not get a runny nose every time the weather changes. That really makes being Q sound almost good. Well, good news for you. Humans can ascend into Q. That's what Q mentions. And we get to see it happen when Riker ascends from a mere human like us to Q. Let's talk about that omnipotence of Qs really quickly. Turns out Qs are not as omnipotent as they claim to be. We get to see a very in-your-face example of that over quite a few episodes, namely Q2, True Q, Hiding Q, etc. Imagine someone with a huge ego and then you take away whatever it is that makes them so egotistical. That fact would be akin to death in my opinion. That's pretty much all that Q can do. They can temporarily take away the powers of a fellow Q as punishment, but suicide is not a thing that they can do. But then again, Q can grow weaker when they are close to their death. I mean, we do get to see Q losing his powers at the end of Pick Mercy. The Q was weakened enough for even a human to kill him. That is what Jean-Luc Picard was told by Q. But then...
And that should never happen. Q should always live. Q should not get weak. That's the only thing I don't like. Q should not get weak. Q should always be there. Always. Even when they make a new Star Trek series and do it the right way, Q should still be there. Q should still be there. Bring back John Delancey or give us another Q. Bring the girl back. You know, shit. But like, she'll be nice, kind-hearted, and sweet. You know, like, don't tell her what she doing now. She need a backstory. You know, like, how's old girl doing? You know, like the one that flung Q across that room. And plus, like, how's Q Jr. doing? Because that motherfucker was crazy for a minute. No telling what the fuck that little motherfucker doing right now. We need to see him. You know? Right. That track doesn't count. So Q lives in our head canon, baby. and our head canon, he is alive and well doing his thing.
Death was a bamboozle because 1 year later, there was Q, scolding Jack Crusher for even thinking about his death in a linear fashion. Then it comes to Quinn, the Q that Captain Janeway meets in the Voyager episode Death Wish. He's bored with his life. He's drunk and decides he wants to die. In order to do that, Quinn had to intake poison in his humanoid form. So, the clear idea of what a Q can do and cannot do is very blurred. Another main physiological aspect where the Q differs from us is when it comes to reproduction. Well, unlike us humans, Q do not feel the urge to mate or procreate. Q are way beyond sex is the view of Q when it comes to sex. The concept of sex is so foreign when it comes to the Q that when it suggested, Q stated that he would not know how to. In theory, the mating between two Qs can last for decades. Q has channeled his inner Casanova and
Man. He said, I don't know how Q. You got all this power, but don't know how to smash. But shouts out to the Qs that was smashing and had kids. They're like, fuck all that. We got the ability to smash for decades. What? That's nonstop naughty time. That's nonstop naughty time.
That, well, he did not find any urge to mate with other Q. That never stopped him from going for women of other species. I mean, a little diversity has never hurt anyone, has it? Q's omnipotence has always
Right, they
gone
did it in
females drawn like
Voyager.
a moth to
Yeah.
a flame. I suppose that's why when Q mentioned that he
Yeah, because Q was in Janeway's bedroom and he snapped the uniform off of her, had her in her nightgown and shit. I'm still mad that Chipotle was smashing 7. I'm reading about that. I'm glad Paris got with Torres because Paris is he getting his redemption arc, but like he was trying for treason. He was working with the Maquis and shit. But Torres, Maquis. And I think she was head security. I think she was chief of security or some shit. Or was she in the engine room? No, Tuvok was security. She was in the engine room. She was in the engine room doing her thing. But she's a badass though. No, Q and the female Q did it on a bridge. Oh, I'm mixing up episodes. Yeah. Shit. That fucking female Q. Yep. Lasts about a half a second. All right. This the next one.
for Janeway, he also decided to mention that he could have had anybody else, such as a Klingon Targ, Romulus Empress of a Cerulean microbe. Yeah, Q can be high, but the flirtation skills, not so much. In the eye of Q, Q can only procreate with species that is capable of copulation. This is why we do get to see one instance of two Qs getting together, but as humans. Their form of mating? Touching their forefingers. Of course, Q found it dirty and satisfying. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
I found it dirty and satisfying. Oh yeah, they touched their 4 fingers together on some Avatar shit. On some Avatar shit, put the 4 fingers together and shit. Oh man, being that advanced. Oh my god. I'm just thinking now. It's like being that advanced in consciousness and as an entity. And I'm talking about like sex went from penetration to just using 4 fingers. It's like wild. You know what I'm saying? You know, like y'all gotta be at the highest form of godhood to be like smashing is now in the form of a touch, and our intentions are in line. You know, like it reminds me of the of the movie Demolition Man when Sylvester Stallone was about to smash Sandra Bullock, and like they like she was teaching them like how they do it and shit. It's a whole nother way because everybody got all fucking scared and shit. Don't want to touch each other. They don't want to give each other high fives no more and shit. I'm like, Demolition Man is wild. That's a dystopian future. I'm glad I covered it on my Matrix versus Reality. Yeah, the founders melted together, and Kira should have left Odo for cheating. Kira should have left Odo. She should have left that nigga. Go smash that old founder bitch. I'm mad that Kira got with Odo. I'm like, damn, Kira, you could have got with anybody else on that motherfucker. I'm like, at least can you Can you shapeshift to look more human-like? She ain't asked that motherfucker that. Yeah, she probably asked that nigga that behind the scenes because I best believe if I was fucking Mystique from X-Men, I'm like, hey, I want you to turn to Sade on Mondays. I want you to turn to Kenzie Reeves on Tuesdays. Elsa Jean on Thursday. You know, naughty Odo. But she had to get with somebody, so like it was probably cool. You know, like for them, I'm surprised he even gave her an arc like that. I'm surprised they even did that. I'm surprised, but it worked. It fucking worked. It fucking worked. It fucking worked. So, you know, and she gave him a second chance. You know, but melting with the founder bitch, nah. I knew exactly what that was. I ain't like it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on when I first seen it? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, nah. It was all bad. And then Kira was like, what the fuck is this? Man, Kira wanted to kill that motherfucker. Should have did it. Oh, man. Nah, Captain Kira, nah.
How powerful is the Q species? To put it very simply, the Q species as a whole are quite powerful. Their status is almost godlike in the Star Trek universe, and aptly so. Their levels of power are beyond human comprehension. Honestly, the best way to explain their power would be to say they have cosmic abilities. They could think of something and it would happen. Resting and destroying matter is child's play for them. Q has control.
Yeah, but they can't take out Guinan's race with that same power. They can't take out the Guinan's race of people, though. That's what we need to find out. What the Guinan's people had a fucking cold war with the Q. In a truce. No telling how many people was dying on both sides of the fucking Cold War that they had. But by us knowing what a Cold War means, down on both sides, but on some secret shit. Like a motherfucker go to his car and the car blow up. Or some shit like that. But like knowing the Q, they don't have no cars. They in the continuum. So how the fuck? Just being in the area of the continuum, where was they at? On another planet? Or they were just like going to planets and they realized they came to the wrong planet because these people ain't playing? You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh shit. These motherfuckers fighting us back. What we gonna do? Shit, nigga, let's study them. Let's study them, man. Nigga, we the Q continuum. We can do anything we want. Man, but this race is on some telepathic shit like us, though. Man, what? Man, whoop they ass. And then they're like, we can't whoop they ass. So shit turned to a Cold War and realized too many motherfuckers was dying and they went on a truce. That's the only way that shit can go down. That's a logical explanation of how the shit go down. Of course, Kira did. Oh, no, good shit. Hell yeah. You already know about it. It's like transform to someone muscular. It's like this Kira. All right. Now, since I'm short, I need you to lift me up. Man, picking Kira's small ass up, bouncing her up and down, giddy up. Oh, yeah. Kira's afraid of Ghana because her species, yep, possesses unique temporal abilities, yep. Yep. You get that easy about her existence, making her a dangerous wild card to the cosmic bully. Yup. I wish they expanded on her race a little more. That would have been awesome. And real talk, she should have been sitting on that fucking bridge. But she don't. I think she should have been in Consular Choice spot. but I understand Constable Troy. Like she can feel the whole planet, you know, like with her mind. So that's powerful right there. But I wish Guinan could, you know, like use that power because like at the end of the day, like when Captain Picard really need to talk to somebody, he's not going to Counselor Troy. He's going straight to the bar and talk to Guinan. So I'm like, what's the use? I just copied and pasted what Google said. Oh yeah, thanks Google. It might be the AI overview. We got to be careful because, you know, the AI overview be getting it wrong. You know how many motherfucking Trekkies going to be mad if the AI view get a Star Trek shit wrong? It's going to be over. They're going to burn Google down. Over some Star Trek.
For space-time as well as matter, so this does not come as a surprise. They can easily harness the power of multiple universes, and we get to see it with the way they travel. With a snap of their fingers, they can teleport through space and time. Traveling to different dimensions is almost like taking a Sunday walk for them. Their control over matter can extend beyond controlling small things.
Yeah, and that shit still can't stop Guinan because when motherfucking it was on TNG, somehow they entered a parallel time, and the only person on the ship that knew something was different was Guinan. So I was like, oh man, you know, like us, the audience, we know that something is different, and Guinan knows something is different. So it's like, oh man, how they gonna get through this temporal motherfucking anomaly shit? Man, oh my god! Like there was one episode where the ship blew up at the beginning of the episode. Captain's like, all hands abandoned ship, all hands abandoned. I'm like, oh my god, that's how you start a TNG episode? What the fuck just happened? I was like, no.
Big boy being planet. A Q can easily change the course of a planet and
Google.
adjust its orbit to its will. Q definitely has an idea about the future. They may not have an idea of the future, but they have an idea of the several futures that are available to them, which is a huge thing that can control time. This makes them definitely stronger in comparison to us humans. However, despite the knowledge of multiple futures, Q never knows which future will be taken, as Q does look at time in a linear fashion. So there are definitely moments of surprise for Q. Both Delancey's Q and Quinn showcase the importance and powerful nature of Q as a species, almost acting as the flip side of the same coin, with Delancey's Q being more chaotic and Quinn being more benevolent. Q can also punch a hole in the gene pool. That punching allows the Q to change anyone from a higher life form to a lower life form. If a Q is whimsical, it can change the space and time continuum, destroy a planet,
with 100 zeros after it, yo.
Just because it can. Q can really help with global warming with its stars because Q can restore the natural atmosphere of a heavily polluted area. It can also move the tectonic plates if it feels like playing around a little. Temporal loops and subspace inversions are something that Q can do with a snap of their finger. Along with so many powers, the Q has the power of suggestion. They are knowledgeable beings, so if they want to be manipulative, they can do so with ease. The power of Q is so vast that it can almost not be quantified. However, it can be stripped away or gifted to others. We get to see that happen when William T. Riker is given the opportunity to become a Q and experience the powers of the Q. Not only can the Qs control their age and appearance, but they can also do the same to the mortals. A Q can change your age, give you your eyesight back, and seal your mouth, as in remove your mouth if they feel like doing it.
Oh yeah, he removed Neelix's mouth on Voyager. Neelix kept on talking. Neelix was irritating. he took his mouth away. I'm like, oh shit. But like, if you pay attention to the scene real closely, you can see the tape on his mouth. I'm like, oh my god. But it's Star Trek, what you expect? But like when you first see it, I'm like, oh man, he took his mouth away.
Have ever wanted to be a completely different species, give yourself a Q, because Q can turn you from a human to a seagull if you want. Qs have shown a huge control over technology, whether it's stopping the functionality of the shield or transporting the ship several miles through space. It all comes easy to Q because Q is just that powerful. With such a huge list of power, you have to think how far this species has come overall. We are only looking at the individuals here, but what about the species as a whole? If we really had to think about it for a second, we would realize that out the Q is the future. Q was a material life form at one point. From there, it became this extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial life form that is extremely technologically advanced and civilized. But how did it manage to do that? Now, saying which path they took is very difficult because there could be several. However, if we pay close attention to whatever traits the Q has, we can say one thing for sure. In the Kardashev scale, the Q is definitely a higher type. Well, before we get into that, let me explain the Kardashev scale. To explain the Kardashev scale, simply, it is almost like a measuring unit to measure how far civilization has progressed. See, the progression of a civilization is not based on the population count. It's based on the technological advancement of civilization.
Yep.
For us humans, the turning point was figuring out how to start a fire. From lighting fire, we have come so far that we have smartphones and computers, etc. But is this how far we can go?
Is this how far we can go? Just thinking about it, what he said. We went from making fire to now we got cell phones to now we in low orbit. But knowing darn well we got the technology to motherfucking really do some shit. And we had the shit since the 40s. Going back to World War II. So why is they holding back? You know, because like we could have been in Star Trek time right now. But at the end of the day, if you make the flying cars and all the flying shit, you got to put it on the market. And if we don't know how to drive the cars on the ground, I'll be damned if I have to beat somebody's ass if he fly his car through my fucking roof. Drunk flying. Can't drive cars on the ground, let alone the fucking sky. I'm straight. I'm straight on the flying car.
Quite true. Our human civilization has gone a long way to
It gotta be like Futurama.
Astronomer Nikolai Kardashev built this scale. See, the original scale that he had made only had 3 types present. Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. How do these differ? When it comes to Type 1 civilization, it is a civilization that can use and utilize the total energy that is present on its home planet. When it comes to a Type 2 civilization, they can harness and use the energy stored in their home planet as well as their star system around them. When it comes to Type 3, you guessed it, it would expand to the whole home galaxy. If I had to put it into perspective, that is easily understandable.
To where the program carries to write the program. Let there be light.
To us by our home planet. We have used fossil fuels, air, and water, sure, but there's so many other ways our planet provides us with the energy we need. For example, geothermal gases. We've not been able to harvest a good fraction of the total geothermal reserve of our planet, let alone the whole of it. Imagine the endless possibilities we would have when we could access the whole reserve of our...
We had the whole reserve of the planet. But according to looking up Tartarian research, the people that they call they destroyed it. Some took it, and it's being used against us. That's a theory, but we have the power, it's just being kept. Now, it's either that the evil people on this planet or the evil aliens on this planet want this bitch to be a chaotic wasteland soon to look like Mars in a minute. If that's really how Mars look, Mars could look just like Total Recall with a city over there. Mars could be across the ice wall if that shit real. Who fucking knows? We ain't gonna know until we eliminate the government, take our asses up in space and be like, let's finally look for ourselves. Okay, it's not flat. It's not round. It's a goddamn petri dish.
Planet's energy source. Now, why am I telling you about this? Because, as I mentioned before, the Q is either Type 4 or a Type 5 civilization. What that means is that they can harness and utilize the energy of at least one universe, Type 4, or several universes, Type 5. I know it sounds crazy, but if you look at the Star Trek universe, you will notice that the Federation is
on the program carriers at the moment.
Type 2 when it comes to technological advancements. So really, the Q being a Type 4 or 5 is expected. Because of this above-class rating, it's very clear that the species itself is one of the most powerful species in the Star Trek universe. This gives us a very basic idea of how strong the species is as a whole. Despite being this strong and capable, we do get to see Q lose his cool over something: the Borg. In episode Q2, we're introduced to Q Jr., who is unruly adolescent. Moody kids often rebel. He too rebelled, except his rebellious acts were not stealing booze from the cabinet or smoking up. It was more like getting rid of Neelix's mouth, irritating and annoying the Seven, and obviously getting 3 Borg cubes on the ship. This led to Q scolding Q Jr. and telling him not to mess with the Borg. It begs the question, what can the Borg do that led to this godlike species wanting not to mess with them? But there is one thing that limits the power of this species: the continuum itself. You would think that with such godlike abilities, the Q have nothing to worry about, nothing to stop them. But you'd be wrong. Over and over again, we've seen that the continuum is harsh to its people. Amanda Rogers' parents, the 2 Qs who decided to live their life out as humans, were executed in a tornado made of their own power. Quinn was trapped in a comet when he wanted to escape the monotony of the life of a Q by committing suicide. Q Jr. was almost turned into an amoeba. So we can clearly conclude that while being super powerful, there are limits to these powers because the continuum sort of dictates how they can lead their life. When they're out of line, the continuum takes it on them to pass judgment and punishment.
But I feel like celebrating. I don't. All right.
Conclusion. Some of us consume media to escape from our mundane day-to-day life and experience something different. Star Trek has done that for a lot of people since its premiere. Since 1966, Star Trek has garnered a huge fan base because of its beautifully
the greatest
crafted
fan base
storyline
of all
and amazing
time.
characters. Q has been a fan favorite for a lot of people because Q truly is a god amongst men. Whether it's the benevolent Quinn, rebellious Q Jr., of Delancey's chaotic Q, all of these characters have successfully captured our hearts and piqued our interests in the species. We hope with this origin video, you have a better idea about these non-corporeal entities. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe.
All right, and now it's time for me to get ready to lay down and rest up and get ready for this afternoon. When I wake up, hopefully I'll probably have another live for us. Try to find some HHN. Hopefully, I like your new short, Vonta. You know I had to bringing that summer on in just right, Vonta. You know I love the rollerblades, legs and rollerblades. That's what I love, baby. And great short, baby, great short. And yeah, probably HHN might work on like a little bit of music afterwards, but I think I might just focus on the HHN because after the HHN, like I'm gonna have to get ready to go to work. So let's get up, get fresh, see what I need for the house, and we'll see. You got another short to upload later? Oh yeah, can't wait to see it, baby. Can't wait to see you. See it later. That's what's up. I might wake up to it. I might be waking up to it. That's what's up. I can't wait to see what you pick for this one. It's gonna be nighttime with the fireworks. Or we gonna be on the beach with it, just looking good. And hashtag fuck YouTube for motherfucking changing up comments and shit. Yep, make sure you get some rest and something to eat. Yep, I'm gonna get some rest and I'm gonna wake up and eat something. I got some chips in front of me, but like I did want to open it up and eat it on the live. But I think I should just eat some food. I'm gonna wait till I get up and put the chips with the food. Make a big old sandwich. Make me a sandwich. A manwich. But I'm glad we had this Star Trek date. You already know what it is. It's that Star Trek Live. I know not everybody up on Star Trek, but y'all should be up on Star Trek. It's been out since the goddamn 60s. This shit been coming on since everybody was little. You know. And What else I got? Well, yeah, just probably an HHN. If it's not gonna be an HHN, I'll try to find something. I'll try to find something. Might be an HHN special stories, or I might just cover just like one topic. And I think that'll be it. You know, that was a great live yesterday, Vonta. You already know what it is. And great short. Can't wait till you see the next one. Can't wait to see the next premiere. Ooh-wee. Fairy tales and fantasies. You make my fantasy come true, baby. Hashtag fuck YouTube and fuck the haters. This the Star Trek talk. Much love to the goddess Vanta. Kapla. You already know. Oh yeah. And you have a cool day. You probably might be going out later unless you probably on some chill. You just go with the flow. Yep. If anybody live, I'll say what up, give my salutes. You know, before I lay down, you know, just say what up to whoever live. And much love to my goddess Vanta. Cheers to us and our future endeavors. Can't go wrong with a dick insider. Best sponsor in the cosmos. Oh yeah. Star Trek talk number 6, I think. We'll be back for the next one. I gotta try to find another Star Trek one. You know, I like coming across these Star Trek videos where they really break it down and they be connected to what's going on in history. So like, I really like it. I like this Star Trek talk. This is real, true Star Trek talk right here. You know, can't get it on with the dick inside there. I'm a bit young, but I would love to try a dick insider. There you have it. For 150 years, Frederick Vaughan Dickens brings women to their knees. So fellas, for the sake of the economy, get a dick insider. All right, let me get up out of here. All right, baby, you have a good morning, afternoon, because I think it's it's like 11:13 over there. Yep, 11:13. Like if you're going out, you be safe getting there, and you be safe coming back. And I see you when I wake up. Give my salutes to whoever live, but I doubt if anybody live. It might be a couple people live. Give my salutes. I need to get back to the meditation videos too. Because I got to do the meditation. I did the energy meditation. I need to do a sleep meditation video, so I can have a sleep meditation. So like, just in case you want to get some rest real fast, you go to one of my sleep meditation videos and just relax. I need a sleep meditation one now, but the best, baby. All right, I'll catch you in a minute when I wake up, baby. I'll be dreaming about you. Raining heavy. Yep, so go to chill and get next week's vid ready. All right, baby, get that next week's vid ready. I wish I could be there and help with that ASMR with the extra oohs and ahs and oohs and ahs and kaplas, baby. All right, let me get up out of here. Oh, but if it rains, I might be off today. If it don't rain, I'm working. They still debating on if the Tigers gonna play in the afternoon or at night. They still debating, but like chances are, like everybody is so like prepped on getting ready to go to work this afternoon. Like everybody think we might work this afternoon. I still think we might work this afternoon because the schedule say so. But they're not they're not sure how this weather gonna be. So they kind of in question. But on the schedule, we work in the afternoon. So we'll see how the game go. But till then, let me get these hours of sleep. Oh yeah, comply. Ooh, ahs and comply. See ya. Oh no, I just thought of that. Oh no, I just thought about that. But yeah, baby. Oh, you enjoy the rest of your morning. Get you a good coffee, bone gap of tea. Get you something to eat. Damn bars. I wasn't even trying to rhyme. I wasn't even trying to rhyme. It just where it just comes on out. But much love. I catch you in a minute, Vonta. And shouts out to everybody in the chat that loves Star Trek on bars. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Late night bars. You already know. It's 6:16 in the morning. Now the sun is out. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I could probably get a good 4 hours in. Wake up around like 10 or 11. Like, I'm going to set my alarm for 10. Wake up in about 4 hours. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Yep. Wake up about 4 hours. See if I can find something live to do. No. First, get fresh again. Then try to find something live. If my sister need me to go somewhere for, I'll try to take care of that as early as I can. We'll see how the game go. Sexy. Oh yeah. And I catch y'all in a minute. Peace. Salute, eyes wide shut. Good morning. Yep. We just ended it. This is Star Trek Live. But shouts out to coming through. Shouts out to you coming through. Shouts out. Yep. Mother get a shout out before I go. I know I probably sound tired as hell probably right now. I know everything was cool and it just dropped. I was like, yep. Time for you to get that laid down though. Yep. Well, hope you have a cool day, cool afternoon, cool evening, cool night. 11:18 in the UK, 12:18 in the Netherlands, 5:18 in Chicago, 6:18 in Georgia, 6:18 in Jersey, 3:18 in California, love. And shouts out to everybody else in your respective time zones. Oh, yeah, if you missed it, yeah, this was just a Star Trek Live. You know, like if you was a fan of Star Trek, you know, we was talking about the augments and we was talking about the origin of the Q continuum and Q. But I'll be back later for HHN when I wake up. If it's not an HHN special report with some news, it'd be HHN special stories. I ain't heard nothing from Stama. I don't know if he hiding or not. And I know I just covered some shit in China. If ain't nothing popping tomorrow, it'll probably just be HHN special stories. You know, or shit. I don't know. Like, shit, if I hear some wild shit, it's gonna be a fuck the government podcast. You know, depends on what I hear. But right, fuck that wanker. Starmer's a wanker. But y'all have a super Saturday, everyone, for sure. Y'all have a cool, chill weekend. I'll see y'all in about 4 hours. 4, maybe 5. Yep. Starmer is a wanker. How do we go from Churchill to you get? Sadiq Khandameh, huh? This is London, mate, not Afghanistan or Star Wars. They won't even protect our schoolgirls from grooming gangs. Sawed off, wankers. The police will help. I'm sorry, that shit is stuck in my fucking head. All right, let me get up out of here, y'all. Much love to Vonta. And shouts out to Eyes Wide Shut. And everybody's going to watch her to play back that love Star Trek. We out. Peace. And love Amelia. And Starmer's a wanker. And fuck Donald Trump, too. We out. Oh, yeah.